following program is part of Channel 4's Target for Action.
25 kids die every day. Do you believe that 25 kids are alcoholics? They're social drinkers. Go home and tell your parents I said that too. I don't agree with social drinking. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. I've been on the gutters. I've been all over the world. I've been a drug addict. I know. I got suicide up to here. I hear it so many times a day, I'm going out of my mind. You know why? Look. Drugs, alcohol, and suicide are all one family. I've been there. It's a dark, lonely, living hell. And all of you who do drugs and drinking in here, you're a hairline away from that hell. A hairline. I come on this stage this morning, I'm high. I'm bombed out of my head. I don't need pills in the morning. I don't need my drink in the morning. I don't need my shots in the morning. I got high on you. I got high on life. There is no other way to get high.
The words that you just heard are those of a very special man. His name is David Toma. As you can already see, David Toma is not an ordinary person. And the program you're about to see is not an ordinary program, nor is it one that you will easily forget. David Toma is a man who cares. He cares about you and your family. And what he's doing right now is something that he has done across the country. He shares his life experience with kids. Right now, he's sharing those experiences with students at the Oak Park High School. And he's using the very same words that he's used to reach out to thousands of other kids. He can reach out to these kids because of who he is and where he's come from. He was a policeman for 21 years, a master of disguises, and the model for the television character, Beretta. He was also a former addict. David Toma has seen it all. Let's join David Toma right now in action as he tells it straight.
I first started to turn on when I was 3 years old. 3 years old, the kid was crying for help, and nobody knew this kid needed help. He was shaking. His body was trembling. I got him at 4, I got him at 5, I got him at 6, I got him at 7, I got him at 8, I got him at 9. Unbelievable, the ages I got him every day all over America. You know why it's happening, kids? I'm going to tell you. Look, most people are going like this. They don't want to see it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. And most people just are not educated on certain subjects, something that most people are doing in every school I go in. And if I can tell you millions and millions of people are doing a certain thing I'm going to talk to you about now, and I'm sick to hear that most people don't know a damn thing about it. So I'm going to talk to you about a subject today. I want you to listen to me closely. No doubt in my mind, many of you kids in here are doing it this morning. I came here as your friend. I want you to listen. When I'm done, you walk out that door and you do whatever you want with your life. But learn. Please listen to me and learn. Because a lot of people are lying to you. They're not telling you the truth. A little thing that this doctor said it's wrong. This doctor said it's not so bad. This editorial in the newspaper said it's wrong. This one said it's not so bad. This cop said it's wrong. This cop says I do it. Pros and cons, pros and cons. In the meantime, millions of kids are mixed up. They don't know which way to go. They don't know what to believe. A little thing called grass, reefer, Mary Jane, joint, stick, point, weed, marijuana, whatever you like to call it. Let me get one thing straight here, kids, before I talk to you about it. There is nobody in the world, I'll challenge anybody, there's nobody in the world knows more about it than I. You know where I learned? Last year I spoke to 3 million kids. This year it'll be over 3 million kids. Every year I speak from 2 to 2.5 to 3 million kids. I've been speaking 25 years. I've been all over the world. And what they're telling me by the millions, I'm going to bring to you. I don't deal with laboratories. I don't deal with doctors. I don't read books on it. I don't need that garbage. My laboratories are the schoolyards of America. What I learned in the schoolyards all over the world, I'm going to give to you kids this morning. I'm going to give it to you for nothing. Take it and do whatever you want with it. But please, when you leave here, learn something about it. Look. Look and learn. When you put a joint in your hand like this, did you notice, kids? Before you light that joint, before you ever light it, it has 61 different poisons and chemicals in it. As soon as you light that joint, as soon as the joint is ignited, it now has 421 different chemicals and poisons in it. Did you kids know this? There is not a drug in the world known to any doctor or anybody that even compares with the poisons and garbage that marijuana has in it. That's how dangerous this drug is. With all the chemicals in marijuana, I know many of them. I can rattle them off like this to you. I want to get to one that some of you kids think you know something about. You don't know a damn thing about. I'm going to teach you something about it. A little thing called tetrahydrocannabinol, or in your language, you call it THC. Now look, what is THC? It is what we call the major psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, which means, kids, if you go like this, look, you take the THC out of marijuana, you can smoke from now to doomsday. You'll never get high in 40 billion years. What would happen to you is, and what's happening to you is, all the other chemicals destroy your heart, your eyes, your lungs, your liver, the muscles of your body. But THC, marijuana does not grow without THC. And number two, all of you, please remember this. The degree, the strength, the potency of the THC that is in the one joint you are smoking depends on where the grass is grown, how it is grown, how it is cultivated, how it is fertilized, the temperature inside when you grow it, the temperature outside when you grow it, the frame of mind you're in when you're smoking, the food you ate before you smoke, the food you ate after you smoke. All these are determining factors. You know what I had the other day? I go into a high school. There's a 19-year-old girl in a room like this. Mr. Toma, I'm going crazy. Mr. Toma, please, you got to help me. I'm going out of my mind. I said, honey, please, relax. What happened? She tells me she's smoking pot since she's 12. About 6 weeks before I get there, she smokes a joint. She don't know what happened, but she got a funny feeling in her body. She felt like her body was trembling. She said she felt like she was locked in a room. She couldn't get out of the room. She said, Mr. Toma, they've been giving me medication, but I don't know what to do. She said, I tried to commit suicide. She said, I took a load of aspirins and things. I want to kill myself. She said, why would this happen? I've been smoking so long. Why would this happen all of a sudden? Every joint is different. Everyone is different. Now I'm going to tell you what happened to me and my nephew. I got a nephew, 28 years, a drug addict. You heard it, 28 years. You want to hear something, guys and girls? He was doing from $1,000 to $1,500 a day worth of heroin. A day, not a week, a day. He's doing over $10,000 a week worth of junk. His arms here, look. All his arms, all through here, all the veins were collapsed. Over here, all pussy, all infected. Over here, all the veins collapsed. Over here, all full of pus. His veins in his legs were all collapsed. You know why they're collapsed, guys and girls? When you're shooting all day long, your veins collapse. He had no more veins to shoot in, so what was he doing? He was shooting here above the fingernails. He was shooting in here between the fingers here. His hands got so big, they were puffed up like this. He had big holes in his hands. And yes, guys and girls, he had millions and millions of little maggots, little bugs, in and out of his hands. He used to go like this. He used to run around the city of New York like this, with a handkerchief around his hands, all the pus oozing out. He couldn't shoot in the hands no more. Any of you faculty ever hear this? So he was shooting here. Look. He finally ended up shooting here. And you people ever see this? I had 2 kids in the high school recently. I said to the health teacher, don't you see where this kid is going? They didn't even realize it. The kid finally admitted to you. Ever see this with the needle? He's shooting in his lower lids right here. My nephew's eyes were all puffed up. He was going blind. We tie him down to a bed, cold turkey withdrawal. You guys and girls know what cold turkey is? It's the only way to go, man. You go cold. I don't believe that garbage you cut down. We got him tied like this for about the 20th time. I got his arms tied, I got his chest tied, I got his feet loose, and I got his head loose. The 3rd day, the pain is so bad, he tries to get away. He breaks the straps. I push him down like this. He hits me here, and he fractures my jaw. As I got him down, he grabs the back of the bed like this. A brass bed. This is how much pain he had. And he's bending the bed like this. And he's screaming, Uncle Dave, please, put a bullet in my head. I can't take the pain anymore. He said the pain was so bad, he felt like somebody's going like this with a knife in his stomach. My brother-in-law jumps on him like this. He's trying to choke him. I got my nephew in the headlock down like this, and I got my brother-in-law down like this. I'm trying to separate them so they don't kill each other. A couple of days later, the kid comes out of it. When he comes out of it, I said, Anthony, from now on your own. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. I said, I'm being embarrassed. Cops are laughing at me. He said, Uncle Dave, I'm quitting. I said, you're a liar, man. You ain't quitting. You're playing a game. Uncle Dave, I swear to you, I'm quitting, but you got to understand one thing, he said. I like getting high. I've been getting high so many years, I can't quit everything. I said, I knew. I said, you're going to smoke a little pot. He said, I've been smoking for years. I said, you have? Let me tell you something about grass. And I told him I just told you about THC. But you know what my nephew is? My nephew's got to touch the hot stove and get burned before he realizes it's hot. He goes to work one day in Hoboken, New Jersey. He gets very, very sick. He calls my sister. She calls me at headquarters. I said, I can't get there. Go pick him up. She gets there. He's screaming. His hand is all swollen. He's got his handkerchief like this over his left eye. Ma, I can't see. I'm blind. She starts to scream. She gets a doctor. They put him in a hospital. They get him in a hospital. They find his hand is all shattered, all broken. They bring an eye specialist in. They had to take his left eye out. He went blind, glass all through his left eye. While he's in the hospital, they said he needed a psychiatrist. My sister said, I've been to many psychiatrists, but we got good doctors here. Let's have a doctor examine him. They bring a psychiatrist in. He examines my nephew. He puts him on medication. He examines him again, puts him on different medication. I called a psychiatrist one day. I said, Doctor, listen closely, please. I said, Doctor, can you tell me what's wrong with my nephew? He said, your nephew has a very unique case. From his head down, only the left side of his body is completely numb. His hand is numb, his arm is numb, his leg is numb, and part of his right thigh is numb. He said, I'm not so concerned with the numbness. I'm more concerned with your nephew's head. He feels like he's got 1,000,000 tongues in his head and he can't breathe. He's gasping for air. I said, Doctor, what's wrong with my nephew? So he tells me what medication he... I said, I don't want to know what medication. I don't give a damn. That's your job. What's wrong with my nephew? He says, your nephew's schizophrenic. Now, I want to tell all of you faculty members in here, 9 out of 10 people would have went for that garbage story. Some doctor tells you he's schizophrenic, we believe that. And in most cases, they're not. They're being misdiagnosed. I said, this kid is not schizophrenic. I'll tell you why the kid is numb. When I told the doctor, he didn't want to hear it. Calls my sister calls me and says, mind your own damn business. I had a big problem in my family because of it. The kid's in the hospital 2 months. He tried to cut his wrist. He tried to jump out the 14th floor window, so they put him in a body bag. You guys know what a body bag is? It's a straitjacket. He's tied like this behind him. And he would scream because he can't get out of the straitjacket. Well, they don't want him to kill himself. That's why he's in a jacket. 2 months later, he's released. He's running the streets of New Jersey, and he gets busted for the 102nd time in his life. When he goes to jail, the warden calls me. I said, don't even call me. I said, throw him in isolation. I don't give a damn what you do. He said, Dave, the kid is not a bad kid. He's sick. Come up to the jail. I said, what's the matter? He says, come up to the jail. I don't want to talk to you on the phone. I go up to the jail. My nephew's sitting here. The warden's sitting right here. I said to my nephew, what's the matter? He said, Uncle Dave, I'm going crazy. I can't do time anymore. I'm going out of my mind. The more you go to jail, the worse it gets as you get older. You just can't take it. I said, you want me to get you out of jail? He said, yes. I said, no way. I can't get you out. You got to pay for what you did. The warden says to him, if you behave yourself, I'm going to make you work during the day and come back at night. What we call a work release program. I said, you happy with that? He said, yes. I said to the warden, do me a favor. Would you walk out a minute, please? Leave me alone with this kid. I said to my nephew, come up here. Look at me. What's the matter with your hand? He said, my hand is okay, but my arm is numb all through here. I said, how about your left side? He said, I don't want to talk about it. I said, why? He said, Uncle Dave, I don't want to talk about it. I said, why? He said, I don't want to talk about the numbness. I said, fine, man. Let's forget about the numbness. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were eating with the prisoners. While you were eating, they rushed you to a hospital. You couldn't breathe. Why? Every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, usually while you're eating, all of a sudden, you feel like you're gasping for air. You can't breathe. He said, Uncle Dave, I'm going crazy. Please get me a doctor. Sometimes I feel like I'm swallowing my tongue. He said, I got crazy feelings in my head. I said, I can't get you a doctor because you're a liar. I said, you're a liar, man. What's wrong with you? He says, you know. I said, you're schizophrenic? He said, yeah. I said, you ain't no more schizophrenic than I am. You're a liar. You can rot in this damn jail. I'm leaving here. Don't call me no more. I don't want you calling my house. I don't want you calling my wife. Lose my damn phone number. I get up to walk out of jail. He grabs me like this. It's the first time I ever saw this kid cry. Let me tell you guys and girls, he goes to jail like it's nothing. Don't mean nothing to him. He can handle anything, he thought. He said, Uncle Dave, if I tell you the truth, you promise not to tell my mother? All he was interested in, my sister finding out the truth. Listen to what he told me. A drug addict, 28 years. He taught everybody in Harlem the name of the game. Listen. He said, Uncle Dave, you remember the kid I worked with? I said, yes. Every day we go to work, we blow a joint. I stopped the coke, I stopped the pills, I stopped the acid, I wasn't drinking, I was doing nothing but smoking pot, and I was going to quit that. He said, one day I go to work and the kid says to me, try this, it's a real horse killer. It's a little better grade stuff than you've been smoking, but you really get a good buzz, a good rush, a good flush. You're really going to feel good. I said, Uncle Dave, I did it all. What's it going to do to me? So I did. I've been doing it so many years. How can it hurt me? He's on a second hit. I got a feeling I got 3 or 4 times before, so I didn't get nervous. I felt my hand get numb. So I dropped the joint, and I'm going like this. And I'm finding now for the first time it ain't wearing off. He says, you know when you hit your funny bone like this? My whole arm is numb, so I'm going like this. I'm shaking my arm. I look at the kid, and he's laughing. I go to walk over to the kid, and I can't walk. My leg is planted. I'm going like this with my hand, but I find my whole arm is numb, my leg is numb, so I got my right leg with my hand like this, my left leg with my hand, and I'm pulling my leg. I go over to the kid to say, what did you give me? And as I'm saying, what did you give me? I'm going like this to him. I can't open my mouth. He said, my mouth was like a vice. And I'm telling the kid, help me, I can't open my mouth. And all I remember the kid saying, Uncle Dave, is, don't get excited. I told you it was a little better grade stuff. It'll wear off. He's Uncle Dave. I ran to the mirror. I got my hands in my mouth. They said I tried to rip my tongue out of my head. He said I didn't. I was trying to get my mouth open. I got my fingers in my mouth like this. He said, I'm trying to get my mouth open. I look in the mirror. Everything was double. My hands were double. My head was double. He said, I got so scared. I put my fist through the mirror. That's when I broke my hand. The glass went in my eye, and I went blind. I said, Auntie, did you hit it with anything? Did you drink before it? Did you drink after? Did you do anything different that you can remember? He said, Uncle Dave, if I did, I would tell you. It is now almost 9 years later. We just readmitted him to a mental institution in New Jersey. He's getting numb through here now. He's getting numb the side of his face. It wears off a little bit, then it comes back. And every once in a while, you got to watch him while he's eating. He will swallow his tongue. They got to depress his tongue, hold it down. Otherwise, he will swallow his tongue and choke to death. Why? Why did it happen 20-some years later? He'd been doing drugs all them years. He'd been smoking pot for years. He could handle it. Why? Was it the weather? Was it the food he ate? Was it the frame of mind he was in? Him and the kid he was with both smoked the same joint. Why did my nephew go numb, but the kid who was with him, nothing happened that day? What was it? Was the THC too much from that day? I don't know. But you know what I want to tell you, kids? Nobody knew this. I've been telling the world for years. I'm going to give it to you today, kids. Please take it. I've got several hundred kids a week who are telling me they're going numb and nobody knows. You know what I did yesterday? A bunch of wise guys in the audience giggling. I go in a room. There's 15 guys and girls in a room, all high school. One kid finally opens up and says, I've been getting numb a little bit over here. One girl says, I never told anybody, but my right hand has been getting numb. You know what I had yesterday? This ain't funny. I had a 19-year-old boy, a football player, going crazy. Faculty, the whole top of his head, he says he has no feeling. He got a pen like this, and he's going like this with the pen in his face. He said, Mr. Toma, if I quit smoking pot, does this go away? I can't even breathe no more. He said, my whole top of my head is numb. I had a 13-year-old girl the other day, just her nose and her lips and part of her tongue, she was going like this, is numb. You know why it makes you numb? You're putting 421 poisons in your body every time you take a hit. One of the things it does, it eventually cuts off the circulatory system. It cuts off your blood supply, and you go numb. Does the numbness wear off? I got a girl right now from Oregon, 25 years of age. She quit smoking pot 5 years ago. All the numbness hasn't gone. I had a girl the other day quit smoking pot. About 4 hours later, I got in touch with her. The numbness was gone. It all depends on what you're smoking. It all depends on you. It all depends how long you're smoking. Everybody is different. Let me give you something else. Because I want to tell you the truth, kids, so when you get out of here, you do what you want, but at least you'll know the truth. Did you guys know this, and you girls? Every time you smoke one joint, it takes approximately 4 months from one rotten, stinking joint for all of the THC and chemicals that come out of your body. You know what that means? That for 4 months, if you never smoke another joint after today and you smoked this morning, you are not drug-free for the next 4 months. While it's in your body, what does it do? I'm going to give you 3 things. I can give you 43 things. I'm just going to give you 3 so you'll know. Number 1, remember this, kids. THC is what we call fat-soluble. It does not come out like water. It is fat-soluble. It stays in the fatty tissues of the body and destroys your heart, your lungs, your liver. You know what I've been getting for years now, faculty, and nobody knew it. Yesterday in California, look. Mr. Toma. Why is it I'm starting to get a lot of chest pains? I don't know what's the matter with me, but I find all of a sudden that's what it's doing to the muscles around the heart. It's constricting. You know what I had yesterday again? I'm getting this a lot. I've been talking to a lot of eye doctors. Look, all of a sudden a lot of kids are going like this now. Can't see right. It is affecting a part of the brain that's affecting the optic nerve that makes you see. And a lot of kids just can't see right now. They're having a lot of problems focusing on things. It's affecting that part of the brain. Something else, my friends. This isn't funny, this is sad. I had a bunch of kids just yesterday tell me they don't remember coming to school. They don't even know what the hell day it is. They're forgetting like you would not believe because it's affecting the memory. The THC goes to the brain. A big part of the brain is fat. THC is fat soluble. It is destroying your mind. It is destroying the memory. Does the memory come back? Some people it does. You know what I had yesterday? I wish you were all with me. A 29-year-old guy who walked in off the streets yesterday from California. He walked in, he said, Mr. Toma, do you mind if I talk to these guys and girls? I said, go ahead. He said, you're looking at one of the biggest coke dealers ever was in California. He said, I made a lot of money, man. I was smoking pot and doing coke and doing everything. He said, in case you're interested, I've been in and out of mental institutions, I did it all. He said, I just want to tell you now, it's 4 years I'm straight. I'm going through a living hell right now from all the crap I put in my body. He says, I get up in the morning. He says, I can't think. I can't remember things. My wife and kids took off. They left me. I can't function anymore. He says, my head is gone, man. He says, I'm through. I got more kids every day who tell me they can't even think anymore. And you know something? You don't see it because you know why? It's coming very slow. It doesn't hit you all of a sudden. It's coming very slow. Little by little, you start to lose a little bit more every day of your memory. One day you wake up like one of my nephews, and he was going out of his mind. He couldn't even think anymore. He was banging walls. He was doing a little bit of everything. And number 3, I appeal to all of you kids, but to most of you girls this morning. Please listen to me. Number 3. When you smoke a joint, girls, the THC destroys, and destroys a little thing called your reproductive organs. I saw a baby born recently. The mother was doing drugs. I don't even want to tell you what the baby looked like. You would throw up. The doctor says, I told this girl, don't do drugs, especially while you're pregnant. You should see what the baby looked like. I hope, for the baby's sake, I hope the baby dies. You can't believe what it looked like. You can't believe how many kids I've seen in my career that are born drug addicts. You ever see a baby born a drug addict? I've been with it all my life. It will blow your mind. It will blow you away just to see what it is. What the hell is the matter with some of you kids? Do you realize what you're doing to yourselves? Let me tell you something else I bet you almost all of you don't know. I had a kid in California yesterday, just yesterday, said, let me tell the kids because I used to do it. You know what phencyclidine is? In your language, it's PCP, or dust. Angel dust will blow you away. I got kids in institutions now who don't know what day it is. I got a cop right now walks with a Bible under his arm. 7 years in a hospital like this, in a room, padded. 7 years. Blew his mind. But angel dust is the easiest drug in the world to make. I can tell you about 50 different ways they're making it. And you want me to tell you one way I've been talking about for a long time? And the kid yesterday in California got up and said to all the faculty, I used to do it myself, and I don't even know Toma. Look. They're getting parsley leaves. And they're mashing the parsley leaves very, very fine. When they get the parsley leaves very, very fine, they're mixing it with a little thing called rat poison. When they mix it with the rat poison, you know what they told me they're doing? They're sticking it in the joints that some of you stupid kids are smoking. You know what I had in Baltimore a little while back? A kid is completely naked on the streets of Baltimore. This ain't funny, man. A kid is completely naked on the streets. 3 cops go pick him up. One of the cops is telling me the story. It was in a Reader's Digest, by the way. I don't know if any of you saw this. But I know the kid. The cops go pick him up, and he's throwing punches, sucker punches at the cops. So they handcuff him like this. They got him down like this, and they wrap him with a blanket. They bring him to police headquarters. He's screaming, moving his head like this. One of the cops said, I wanted to kill this kid. They take the handcuffs off, they take the blanket off, and they throw him in a cell. He comes running at one of the cops. He grabs the bars, and he's shaking the bars. He wants to kill somebody. They walked away from him. A few minutes later, they hear him screaming like crazy. The cop said, I picked up a nightstick. I was going to kill him. I go back to the cell, he says, and I got sick. The kid I'm talking about was named Charlie. Charlie was out on the streets of Baltimore, smoked a joint. Somebody laced it with dust. They got 2 kids who did it. They couldn't prove it. I had let him go. When they get back in the cell, there was Charlie with his right hands on the bars like this. He's shaking the bars like this. And with his left hand, he took both his eyeballs right out. You know what Charlie does now? He goes around the Baltimore high schools like this. Look. Look at me, man. I'm blind. Look at me, all you brothers and sisters. I'm blind. I did coke, I did acid, I did dust, I did it all. One day I got a bad hit of dust. I don't know what happened. I remember screaming in the cell. I pulled my eyes out. I'm blind. You know how many kids similar to this I got every day? Every day. You got pills around the school? Sure. What do you got? Got little black beauties, you got pink hearts, got little caddies, got everything. But you know what you don't know about the speed? You know what they're doing? You know what this kid yesterday in California told again? But he told me a new way. A really new way. You know what they're doing? Let me tell you why. See, after a while, you do drugs, you get crazy, man. You're dealing drugs. If I'm dealing, he's dealing, I'm dealing to this kid here. If I don't give you some powerhouse stuff, you're going to build a tolerance. You ain't coming back to me no more. You want some good stuff. You're going to go to him. I don't want to lose you, so I got to give you some power. You know what they're doing? Look. Look. They're dipping the pills in Drano. And they told me they're selling it to the kids in the schools. You know what I had 2-3 weeks ago? I had a kid in the Midwest, this big, comes in a room like this, guys, look. And girls, Mr. Toma. Mr. Toma, can I talk to you a minute? I said, yeah. He said, we don't do Drano around here. I said, you never heard of Drano? He said, yeah, I heard of Drano. I said, what do you do? He said, I don't want to get in trouble. I said, between me, you, and God. He said, you ain't going to tell the law? I said, no, man, between me, you, and God. He said, well, I know what I've been doing. He said, I've been getting the pills. And I'm getting the grass. He says, and I've been dipping it in embalming fluid. And I said, you're selling this garbage to the kids? He said, Mr. Toma, they'll take any garbage you give them. They just want to get high. They don't give a damn what you give them. The kid yesterday told me, at 27 years of age, he said where they're at, they get insecticides and they're spraying the marijuana. They're spraying it. They're spraying the joints. They're spraying it. I said, man, you're killing kids. He said, Mr. Toma, after a while, it doesn't matter anymore. You do a little bit of everything. Everything goes, he says, and they'll take anything you give them. You want to know something yesterday that happened, faculty? I had a girl yesterday crying, doing drugs. I said, she wanted to give me something. She wanted to relieve her tensions. I said, give me what you got, man. So she gives me some pills. I said, you taking these? She said, yes. I said, what is it? She said, speed. I said, what is this? She said, speed. I said, who told you that's speed? She said, that's what they... I said, that ain't speed. That's mescaline. You're fooling around with acid. She didn't even know what the hell she was dropping. She didn't know what the hell she was taking. Let me give you something else, guys and girls. You know what bothers me? Every morning I watch television, you see, we need money for the #1 killer in America, heart disease. The #2 killer in America is cancer. Do you know what the #1 killer in America is your age right now by far? Alcohol. Did you kids know that every day in America 25 kids die every day because of drunken driving? Every day! Did you know that? Every day! 25 kids die a day. Let me tell you what happened to my daughter. She graduated high school last year. 4 days before graduation, she brings 2 guys and 2 girls over to the house. I'm traveling. My wife picks me up at the airport, takes me home. She's graduating on a Friday. On Monday, I walk in my house, and there's the 2 guys and 2 girls leaving. One kid is 18, named Billy. The other kid is, I think it was Eddie, 19. Hi, Mr. Toma. I said, hi, kids. Be careful on the way home. 2 days later, on a Wednesday, they come back to my house. They pick up my daughter and a bunch of girls. They go over to the high school. They're practicing marching graduation because they're going to graduate Friday. After practicing marching graduation, my daughter calls the house. She says, Daddy, I'm going out. I said, with who? And she tells, I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Take your own car. She says, I don't have my car. I says, well, bring your car. Like so many damn lazy parents that there are in America, my wife and I are a little different. I took my daughter's car. My wife drove our car. We dropped her car off, and we came home. Thank God. Eddie and Billy, after practicing marching graduation that Wednesday, are riding around my town. They stopped to pick up 2 6-packs of beer. About 45 or 50 minutes later, the police department's got it down to a minute. They hit a tree. They go up like this. They come down on 2 cars. My son had the job. He's a policeman. He come home. He said, Dad, I'm sick. We had to pick Billy's brains up from all over the ground. They found a big portion of Eddie's skull approximately 300 feet away on the grass against an apartment house. 2 days later, they graduated. At graduation, 2 girls get up and go up and get the diploma from the principal because their brothers are dead. While they're giving a diploma, there they are, all the juniors and seniors, all crying. All the teachers are crying. While they're crying, about 5 or 6 rows in front of me, I said to my wife, listen to these idiots. There was a couple of guys and a couple of girls. Hey, don't forget Friday night, man. You got to get there early. You got the address? They got some good stuff coming in. What the hell are you crying about? You're a bunch of phonies, man. You're phonies. You cry after it's over. What the hell are you crying about? I was in a school recently. 2 guys were fooling around in the back. I said, let me tell you something, brother. Do me a favor. Get up and get the hell out of here. Go home and play with your mother. You want to play games? Get out of here. 2 kids got up and they walked out and they laughed. Several months later, I go back to the school. They asked me if I would go back to the school just to say to the kids I love them, whatever. So I put it on tape. 15 minutes from my house. I go back to the school and they have what they call a house for kids in a school where they can rehabilitate themselves. I walk into this little house, my wife, my 2 daughters, and myself. There's a kid in a wheelchair, completely paralyzed. He's got a tube out of his mouth, drinking Coke, and a girl is holding a can of Coke for him because he can't hold it. As I walk in, he starts to cry. I didn't say a word. I walked past him like this. I touched his hair, and I kept walking. Now I'm talking to all the kids. He says to me, Mr. Toma, you remember me? I said, no, son. He said, my name is Kenny. He said, you remember when you were in our school and some kids were giggling? You said, if you don't want to hear me, get the hell out. I said, yes. He said, I was one of the kids who walked out. He said, a couple of months ago, I was drinking and I was driving. I hit a little girl and I killed her. I carried off a pole, hit another pole. He said, I broke my neck. He said, Mr. Toma, I'm 6'9". I got several scholarships for basketball. He says, I made all kind, I made all county and all state. He says, I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life. He said, I was so damn stupid. He said, you remember the kid who was with me? I said, no, I didn't, son. There was too many kids in it. He said, a boy walked out with me. His name was Tommy. He says to the girl who was showing us around, my wife, show Mr. Toma and his wife, Tommy. I'm there 2 hours. We're drinking hot cocoa and whatever. 2 hours later, we leave. I go to my car. The girl says to me, Mr. Toma, come on, I'll show you where it's... I said, what? I want to show you something. We walk about 40, 50 feet past my car, and my wife is going like this because she don't like to go through it. She said, I don't want to see it. I don't want to go. You go. I walk into a cemetery. About 40, 30 feet in the cemetery, near it was a stone. Thomas H. Etchings. I says, was he with the kid in the car? She said, no. He hung himself. He was doing drugs, he was depressed, and he hung himself. You know what the kid in the wheelchair said to me as I left? He said, Mr. Toma, you know what I don't understand? I'm paralyzed. Every kid in this high school knows why I'm paralyzed. They know I made All-State in basketball. They know because of drinking I'm in this damn wheelchair, yet most of the kids in my school are still drinking. They're still doing their thing. He said, Mr. Toma, what the hell does it take before they learn? I don't know. I don't know. I was just in a school recently. You kids are lucky so far. In one school, 5 kids are dead in 1 month because of drunken driving. 5 kids! Did you see what happened in New York a little while back? 11 kids in a high school are graduating. One of the kids is driving a van. He tells all the kids, come on, man, jump in the van. 11 kids in a van, guys and girls. They're going down the road like this. There's a train coming by. 6 cars in line waiting for the train to go by. But this kid's drinking, man. He's going to beat the train. You know, he's got the guts, so he goes around like this. He tries to go over the tracks in front of the other cars. You faculty must have read it. 9 out of 11. Their heads. 1 out of 11 survived. The girl had several brain operations from what I hear. She walks like this now. Doesn't even remember what happened. My son is a policeman. A few weeks ago on the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey, he gets a call in our small little town that we live. There is 2 high school kids and 1 man a little older in the car. There is a kid hitchhiking on the parkway. They're drunk in the car. They're coming down the parkway. They hit the hitchhiker. To make a long story short, my son comes home with his partner. He said, would you believe we can't even find one of the kids' heads? When they got there, it was completely ripped off. One of the guys, the young high school kid, wasn't even dead. He was ripped down the center. His arm was completely off, part of his leg. They had to go look for it, and he's screaming. The pain was so bad, please help me. My son said I was crying because I didn't know how to help the kid. For what? For what? For a few drinks? For what? And some of you are sitting there saying, it ain't going to happen to me. No, it never happens to you. Like I said, I ain't never going to be a drug addict. I'm a cop, man. Never going to happen to me. 25 kids die every day because of alcohol. It ain't going to happen to them. Oh, yeah, baby. One of you is next. And you know the sad part? Did you see the guy in the Pittsburgh Steelers? 285-pound defensive end. He was taking over for the almighty Joe Greens and all the great Pittsburgh Steelers. This guy just started this year. He was drinking the other day. He got drunk and he was driving. He's now paralyzed from here down. A 22-year-old boy, one of the best defensive football players in the National Football League. He's done. It's all over. For what? For what? You don't think if he heard me speak, he'd probably be in the audience like this saying, oh, yeah, man, but I only drink a little bit. I can handle it. No, baby, you don't handle it. It handles you. He said that. Many other people are saying it. Let me tell you something else, all of you. I wouldn't do it here. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But some of you faculty blow your mind. You fall off the chair. If I were to say right now, all of you girls and guys in here have played around with suicide. Get up! You blow your mind. You blow your mind. How many kids a day talk to me about wanting to hang themselves, about trying to take overdoses? You know why? Look. Drugs, alcohol, and suicide are all one game. I told a boy 23 years of age a little while back. He didn't want to hear me. He was doing his drugs. He goes to a psychiatrist in California. Psychiatrist couldn't help him. He comes back and he's doing his ludes. Now, you know what ludes do? They bring you down into a hole. He got so damn deep into a hole he couldn't get out. So he puts the gun in his mouth and blows the back of his head off. His name was Freddie Prinze. Yeah, I knew Freddie Prinze, not real well, but I knew him well enough. I spoke in 1972 at the MGM Grand Hotel in Vegas, and right in the front row here was a kid who wanted to be a cop in the worst way. He was a frustrated cop, and I was proud that this kid would come and hear me speak. He was the greatest entertainer in the world by the name of Elvis. What got Elvis? Drugs. What got Freddie? Drugs. I also knew another guy who was a beautiful guy, one of the great comedians of our time. I saw him in Hollywood one day, and he's dancing like this, and everybody's laughing. I said to my son, don't laugh, he's sick. A couple of months later, he was dead. His name was Johnny Belushi. I can go on and on. Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. I can go on and on, but you know about them because they're famous. Do you know about the 6 kids who just died in North Dakota? You don't know about them. They're not famous. Do you know about the 5 kids who are dead in Miami? You don't know about them. You know about 3 kids who just killed themselves in Oklahoma City? You don't know about them. And if something happens to one of you guys tomorrow, you want to know something? Outside of your little town here, nobody knows the difference. You're just another number, baby. And they forget you. When you're a celebrity, they put you on the front page. When you're somebody in the school, they forget about you. All of you. My friends, I hate to say this, but I don't think anybody in Hollywood would want to come here and talk to you guys and girls because they ain't got that kind of time. They're interested in making them millions of dollars in movies. They don't give a damn about you. They're playing a double game, you see. I'm doing it for you. I see it every day. I've lived with it all my life. I see my nephews who've quit drugs right now still screwed up. They're still not right. They did it too long. They affected the brain. I got one nephew now, so many years doing drugs, he quit now, but he still walks around aimlessly. He can't function anymore. The brain has been banged too many times. Do you guys ever think of this in here, you girls? Look. Right here. Let's assume there's a Downton Thomas out here. You ain't going to get hit with the poisons. You ain't going to get hit with the chemicals, which you are. But let's assume you don't. You ain't going to go get numb. You ain't going to lose your memory, which you will. But I'm going to give you a way out. I'm going to say there's one person out there, you're lucky, man. It ain't going to happen to you right here. Did you ever think of this? I live 3 blocks away from a place called Rawway Prison. And in Rawway Prison, a little program that I greatly believe in and part of called Scared Straight. And I want to tell some of you guys in here, baby, you think you're tough guys? You ain't nothing when you're going in prisons. You ain't nothing. You see, in high school, some of you guys are ladies' men. In jail, they make you a lady. Let me tell you guys and girls, I spent half my life in and out of prisons because I love talking to them guys. And I want to tell you, as a visitor, I'm scared to death when I go there. You know what they do? They like when young kids like you do something wrong and you go to jail, and they stand out there and they look. I want that sucker with the red shirt, man. And when you go there, baby, they teach you the meaning of R-A-P-E. Rape. You go to jail, you'll know what it is to get raped. I know a guy that went to jail recently. They interviewed him. He said, I've been a tough guy on the streets. I'll fight anybody. You can fantasize. You can think about it. But until you get there, you don't realize what it really is. And you know something, guys and girls? Anybody in here doing drugs and drinking? I'm going to tell you to your face. You're a hairline away from that jail, whether you know it or not. You know what happened in a school recently? Who would ever think this would happen? 2 kids in a high school dealing drugs. A junior high kid, they turn him on to deal for them down at the junior high. He comes to them one day, he's got no money. He says, give me a little something on consignment. So they're arguing for whatever it was. So he had $1. He says, give me a joint. One of the high school kids, kidding around apparently. Nobody knows the true story, but from what they know, they took the $1 from the kid, and one of the kids pushes him. Go home and get some money. The kid goes home, ain't nobody home. Now the kid's thinking about this. It's mulling over in his mind. He don't like that they took his dollar. His father comes home. He goes upstairs, doesn't say anything to the old man. The father's got a 38 piece. He gets the pistol, puts it in his pocket. He goes back. He's looking for the kids. And he says to one of the guys, give me my dollar back. The kid says, go home and get some money. So he takes the gun out and he shoots the kid in the eye. The other kid in the high school grabs the kid. They're fighting. The gun goes off. The junior high kid is shot in the head. 2 kids are dead. 2 guys and a girl going by in a car. One man sees a kid go down. He don't know what's going on. He jumps out of the car to help the kid. When he gets out, the other guy's running. He grabs the guy. The guy turns around and shoots him. 3 people are dead. 1 high school kid was locked up for murder over 1 stinking joint. Over 1 stinking joint. And you know what happened to the high school kid? He went to jail. He had a nervous breakdown in jail. You know what they did? They didn't even hit him. They were playing with him the first day. They caught a big rat this big. They wrapped the rat. They cut it so it would bleed, but it wouldn't die. As he's coming through to get his meal, they put the rat right on his rice. Let me tell you, baby. You know what all you guys and girls need in here? I don't mean you per se, the whole world. You need a little taste of what it is when you walk into a jail and some guy says, hey, punk, you're mine, baby. What are you going to do when a guy 240 pounds doing 2,000, 3,000 push-ups a day? What are you going to do? He's in there for about 17 murders. What the hell do you mean to him? You don't mean nothing to him. You're just another guy to him. Don't mean nothing. Want to know what I just saw on television? I just come out of my room. They just interviewed a guy this morning on television. He was sentenced to death for murdering his wife. They strapped him down like this. They're ready to give him an injection. They asked him what kind of a feeling was. It was the worst feeling in the world, that you're going to die within a matter of minutes. He said, a million things went through my mind. I started to cry. I started to pray to God. They finally commuted his sentence. Now he's doing life in prison. So they asked him what it was like, and this guy looked like he said, I was a tough guy in the street. They said to him, what happened? He said to them, right on television this morning, what can I say? He said, when you're drinking and doing drugs, that's where I ended up. I don't remember killing my wife. That's what they told me I did. But when you're doing drugs and drinking, man, that's where you end up. He said, I'll be here the rest of my life. Did you ever think of this one now? You're not going to go to jail. You're lucky. You're not going to get hit with the poisons. You're lucky. Did you ever think of this one? Look, let me give you one more right here. I got 3 daughters at home, 16, 21, and 23. I got a son, 25 years of age at home, make all you guys in here look like a midget. When I tell you he's big, I don't mean this way. He's only 5'11". He weighs 225. He's never lost a wrestling match in high school or college. He's considered one of the strongest cops around. You kids know anything about bench pressing. He bench presses with ease well over 400 pounds. Any of you guys got my new book that I just wrote? Look at my new book. He's standing like this. I'll show you the page he's on. His arms, they look like hams hanging out of his shirt. I want to tell you guys in here, any of you guys would like to take one of my daughters out? And while you're out with one of my daughters, you say to one of my daughters, you want to get high? And she comes home and tells her brother. Let me tell you, baby, tell you in your language, shame on you, sucker, you're in trouble. He almost killed the kid recently. When I say a kid, the kid is big. He's a basketball player. He's about 23 years of age, 24, but he's a nice kid. Takes my daughter out. They're going to go to a drive-in. Kid made a mistake. He asked my daughter if she wanted to do a little drink with him. She comes home. My son's in the next room. She's telling her mother. He comes out of the room like a maniac. She never had the drink. He offered her a drink. He comes out of the room like a maniac. You know what he did? He calls the kid up on the phone and he cons him. He said, you were over here earlier. You dropped something out of your pocket. He said, I saw you walked out. You dropped some money. You sure? He said, yeah, come on. He conned the kid over. I swear to you, when the kid come, he put his head through the panel of the front door. Boom! I said, oh, he killed this kid. The kid's whole head through the panel of the door. He grabbed the kid like this. He had him almost off the floor. You ever even offer my sisters to even look at that beer, I'm going to kill you. You understand me, man? I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm telling you guys here and you girls? Be careful who you're turning on, brothers. Be careful. There are a lot of sick people out in them streets. A lot of crazy people, man. They'll kill you in a minute. They don't give a damn. Let me tell all you girls today. Girls, I have 3 daughters at home, and I want to tell you something. Thank God they're ladies. My daughters don't drink, they don't do drugs, they don't smoke, they get high on life. And I'm going to tell you now, girls, my daughters will not go out with guys who do that garbage. They're ladies. I hope all of you girls can say this. My daughter was playing basketball at a high school recently. I go to pick her up. There's a couple of teachers there, and some guy's shooting baskets with her. And he gave me a present like I never got in my life. And I've got limousines, I've got money, all garbage. He gave me the greatest present in my life. You know what he said to me? Man, you ought to be proud. He says, the word all over the high school is you can't go out with the Toma girls unless you're straight. I give her one of these. Look. Whew. Damn. I felt good. And I want to tell you guys in here, my son happens to be one loyal guy, and unfortunately, he's too damn loyal. And you guys make friends with him, I swear to you, he'd take on 6 guys for you. He's crazy. But I want to tell you now, one of you guys ever said, let's go get high, man, you'll never say it again to him. Guaranteed. You got to be a man, guys and girls. You got to get away from this garbage. I don't mean you, but the society walking around. You're a big man. You know, you're a big man around school. You're dealing drugs. Let me tell you something. You know what a drug dealer is? A punk. He's a scumbag. He's a piece of garbage. That's all he is. It's only a matter of time we're going to get him. It's only a matter of days we're going to get him. And you want to see them. You see what happened in New York? They got the toughest drug dealer in the world by the name of Nicky Barnes. Nicky Barnes is doing time in jail. Nicky Barnes made more money in one day in the drug world all over the world in New York than you'll make the rest of your life. He's in Murder Incorporated. This guy goes, get rid of this guy. He ain't dealing enough. He was killing people bad. They lock him up. They finally got the big guy in America. They lock him up. He's in jail like this. I don't know nothing. So they made a deal with Nicky Barnes. Do you want to sit in the cell the rest of your life? Or will you tell us what's going on with the drug world with you and who you were playing with on the streets? And we'll do a favor for you. The toughest guy in the drug world right now is doing this in jail. He's talking on everybody. He squealed on everybody. His wife, he felt she was playing around when she was out, when he was in jail. He's got a couple of kids with her. 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you saw this, they found several bullets in her head. Baby, you want to play? You got to pay. The game is heavy. The price is high. You're playing a dangerous game. You're playing a very dangerous. Forget about what the drugs is doing to you. Look over your shoulder, man. Somebody watching you. Be careful. The only way to beat it, guys, is don't do it. I am 51 years of age. Say it again, girls. I love it. I am 51 years of age. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I've never had a drink in my life. And you know, I come to school late every morning, and I do it for a reason. And let me tell you, kids, I want to share with you as a friend here. And I see some kids straggling along, and they're smoking. Not joints, cigarettes. You know what they should do? They should put you girls on film smoking cigarettes. You ever watch yourself, girls? Look. Watch some of the guys. They all think they're from New York. Watch them. Hey, my man. You know what I don't understand, guys and girls? I really don't. Some of you girls and some of you, not only you, let's not blame you. Many adults, more than you. You get up in the morning. You brush your teeth. You jump in the shower. You wash your hair with Breck and Pearl. Boy, do you smell good. You put a little shirt on, a little aftershave. Some of you girls put a little perfume on. And on your way to school, you light up a cigarette and you smell like a damn ashtray. What the hell did you take a shower for? You know what you should do? Don't waste your mother's toothpaste or water in the morning. Get up. Light a cigarette, blow the smoke up in here, and go like this with your hair. What the hell's the difference? You're going to stink anyway. Let me tell you something, guys and girls. I tell you for your own sake. You got one shot at it, man. You got one shot at it. Look at the NFL. What a disgrace. Look at all them guys getting locked up for doing drugs. Look at Mercury Morris, one of the greatest football players around. He's doing drugs with the Super Bowl team, the Miami Dolphins. But he said he was doing drugs. He had a supply he's having, so he had a deal. He got nailed. He is now doing 20 years in a prison. 20 years. For what? For what? Look at all the baseball players. Some of them come from my hometown, the Kansas City A's. They're getting locked up for doing drugs. Some are going to be thrown out of baseball the rest of their life. For what? For some garbage. Garbage, man. It's garbage. I want to tell all of you, I swear to you, brothers, I go to the biggest and some of the supposedly the best, I think they're garbage, parties in Hollywood. And you go to Hollywood parties, some of them there you see. There's the lines, and there's the other things. I think nothing of being a man. I walk in, I go like this. What are you people, sick? What are you doing with this garbage? What are you, cuckoo birds? Most of them about 97 cents short of $1 upstairs. Believe me. Take care of yourself, guys and girls. Take care of your life. Stop walking around the schools like you're a big man. You know when you're a big man? When you got your act together. Some of you guys in here doing drugs, some of you girls, I don't give a damn what you did. I did it before you. I was a drug addict before all of you were born. But I'm man enough to stand up here and tell you I did it, and it's over, man. It's over. It's behind me. I'm too smart to do that crap anymore. I'm lucky I'm alive. Yeah, I try to kill myself. I know the whole game. I've been through that game. Nobody wins the game. Everybody loses. I now go around telling people just how I feel. And some of you kids who are straight in here, let me tell you something. Be proud to be straight. Don't you ever walk around defending it. You'll be proud to be straight. Anybody ask you, man, I don't do that garbage. I don't need that crap. I want to tell you guys and girls, I want to share it to you as a friend. I haven't slept in 2 days. I flew all night last night in an airplane. I got off a plane about 6:40 this morning. I came right here. It's a 3-hour time difference from California. I was dead tired. I come out here this morning and I'm bombed. I'm bombed out of my head. I'm high on life. I don't need pills. I don't need amphetamines. I don't need grass. I don't need a damn thing. I'm high on you. That's the only way I get high. I don't need nothing else. I ain't going to do this, baby. I ain't going to do it. I thought about it. Freddie Prinze did it. I ain't going to do it. You got to get your act together, guys and girls. You got to start feeling good about yourself. Some of you athletes in here, I don't know if you are or not, but some of you athletes, I just come back from a school. Some of these guys, football players, 210 pounds. They're working out every day. Some of these guys, they're boxing. They're moving around. They get down the line and hitting the bag. What the hell does it mean? Don't mean nothing. When that little joint is controlling you, you're trying to control a 240-pounder on the line. That little thing, that bottle, that little bit of that alcohol in that bottle's controlling you. It's controlling you. Don't even play ball no more. Forget the damn thing. You control your own emotions. Control yourself. And I don't play two games, kids. You know what the problem with us is? And I understand it, man. We're hypocrites. A lot of people telling you don't do drugs and they drink. What the hell, are they any better? A lot of people telling you don't do drugs, but they smoke cigarettes. Isn't that a drug habit? Same damn thing. I don't play two games, guys and girls. I play it straight. I don't sneak out here when nobody's looking and grab a beer. I don't do that crap. I don't need it. Please listen to me. When I'm done today, some of your administrators were so kind to give me a room. When I'm done, some of you want to come down and see me in a room, you come in and see me. And if you're doing drugs, come in and see me today. I'll show you how to get rid of your habit now. You don't need 50 years. You don't need all kinds of medication. I'll show you how to get rid of that habit today, if you listen to me. You don't want to listen? Then you do your thing. Be my guest. Do whatever you want. You want to come in and see me and talk about Hollywood? You want to talk about being a policeman? I don't care. Come in and see me if you want. Whatever you say is between me and you and God, nobody else. But don't be proud, man. Now is your shot. You got a shot at me. Take advantage of it. Don't wait. Don't wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow's too late. I got so many kids right now locked up in mental institutions because of drugs. It would make you sick. It would make you sick. Some are tied down to beds. Some are walking around with helmets on their heads. You ever see that? They put a lock on the helmet so they can't get the helmet off, and they're banging their heads up against the wall like this. For what? What are you proving? What do you mean? I'm proud to tell you, Monday night, I had a kid come up to me in California. A boy just turned 14, faculty, like this. I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating. Mr. Tom. And he's perspiring. I said, you doing cocaine, man? Because you know what cocaine does to the central nervous system, especially the brain, because you got nothing here to protect you. When you're snorting coke, it goes right to the brain, see? And it destroys the brain. That's what it does. And this kid's like this. If that kid now would have went anywhere else, they'd have had him admitted to a hospital, all kinds of stuff. I said, listen to me, man. You're going to go through hell tonight. I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. Certain exercise. I want you to drink certain fluids. Listen to me. He comes back Tuesday morning, and one of the teachers says, I don't believe this. You remember the kid who looked like he was dying yesterday? Look at him. I said, how you feeling? He said, Mr. Toma, I did exactly what you said. I had a bad night, but I feel so much better. I'm going to beat this. I said, of course you're going to beat it. And you don't need to go to a hospital. You can beat it if you want it, but you got to want it. Some people need rehabilitation centers, and I understand that. In this particular case, this kid didn't need it if he listened to me. He's doing well in 2 days. I don't say he's going to be cured, but it's up to everybody else around him to help this kid. That's important. Listen to me, guys, please. You know what I feel sorry for? You people probably never saw it. I worked in Harlem half of my life. You want to see some of them poor people in Harlem walking around with sores this big, all over their arms, sores all over their body. One girl in particular, she's got big sores all in through here, all messed up, and she's shooting the needle right in the sores, all messed up, and most people letting her go until she dies. I can't see that. She's a human being. It's somebody's daughter. And she was crying for help when I talked to her one day. But I see them all over New York, all over. They're everywhere, man. Don't you get to that point. And you're going to get to that point. You keep playing games. As I told you, my 5 nephews told me to tell all of you, you want to play? You got to pay. The price is heavy, man. It's damn heavy. To each and every one of you, I'm coming back tonight because I want to talk to your parents. Oh, do I want to talk to some of your parents. I want to hit a few of them right here with a sledgehammer. I want to give you something before I go, kids. Then they'll tell you what room we're going to use. You want to come down the room and see me? Come down. Don't be too proud, man. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't look at everybody else. You worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. I want to give you something, kids, this morning. I want to give you something my mother gave me as a little boy, and I'm proud to tell you guys and girls, think about this. One of the highest arrest records in the world, I never did this one time. I'm proud to tell you, I never had to shoot anybody, thank God. Some cops do, I understand that, but I didn't. I got too much value for life. And because my mother gave me something, I went to Hollywood. And everybody says you're going to get sucked up in Hollywood. They didn't suck me up. I got what I wanted out of them. I beat them at their own game. And because my mother gave me something, I came here this morning. And I traveled 3,000 miles to come here this morning. And I want to tell you, kids, I get 4, 5, 6, 7,000 letters a week. I'm proud to tell you, dear Mr. Toma, my name is so-and-so. I heard you speak a certain day. I didn't want to hear you. I was sitting in the audience half-bombed. I got high that morning. Mr. Toma, I couldn't help it. I started to cry when you were talking. At the end, I knew you meant me. I just want to tell you, it's 6 months later, I'm straight. It's a year later, I'm still straight. It's 3 years later, I'm still straight. Mr. Toma, I'm doing well. I got my reward. I got over 1 million letters at home just saying, thank you, man. Thank you. That's because my mother gave me something. And what she gave me, I'm going to give to all of you right now. Each and every one of you. All of you faculty, all of you people in the press, all of you guys and girls. I want to give you the most powerful force known to man. It'll cure cancer, it'll cure arthritis, it'll cure drug addiction, it'll cure suicide, it'll cure alcoholism, it'll cure every damn thing in this world. I'm not ashamed to give it to you. Most people are ashamed of it. I'm not. To each and every one of you tonight, all of you, about 2 hours later, I want to say to all of you, I love you. I love you so damn much that this morning I want to cry with the pain I got in my right side. I got a ruptured disc below and up above, and it's gone right up to my head and right down my spine and my arm. But I'm not going to give up doing what I'm doing. Everybody said if you got one girl or guy in this audience today, you did it. No, man, I'm hungry. I don't want one, I want everybody. If I got one of you, I failed. I failed. I'm hungry. Please take what I've given you this morning. Please, I've been there. I know what's happening. Please, take it and do something with it. God bless you, and I love you.
David Toma came here today to give kids the straight facts about drugs and alcohol. And he's reached lots of kids today. But he has to reach the adults, too, because kids can't beat this problem alone. So tonight, David Toma talks tough to parents. Right here, Channel 4, right after the 11 o'clock news. Be there. Make sure that your family is watching.
25 kids die every day. Do you believe that 25 kids are alcoholics? They're social drinkers. Go home and tell your parents.
Later that evening, members of the Detroit area communities got together here at Channel 4 studios to set a course for action against the problem of drug and alcohol abuse.
In the next 2 hours, we're going to relive some of the events of last Thursday with David Toma. Watch what happens.
I had a girl yesterday crying, doing drugs. I said, so she wanted to give me something. She wanted to relieve her tensions. I said, give me what you got, man. So she gives me some pills. I said, you taking these? She said, yes. I said, what is it? She said, speed. I said, what is this? She said, speed. I said, who told you that's speed? She said, that's what they... I said, that ain't speed. That's mescaline. You're fooling around with acid. She didn't even know what the hell she was dropping. She didn't know what the hell she was taking. Let me give you something else, guys and girls. You know what bothers me? Every morning I watch television, you see, we need money for the #1 killer in America, heart disease. The #2 killer in America is cancer. Do you know what the #1 killer in America is your age right now by far? Alcohol. Did you kids know that every day in America 25 kids die every day because of drunken driving? Every day! Did you know that? Every day, 25 kids die a day. Let me tell you what happened to my daughter. She graduated high school last year.